today we're going to talk about a man named Daniel. Daniel and his fight are really unique. In these series of fights, a lot of it's been going on the offense. And Daniel is just a dude kind of living his life. And then is suddenly put into a position that he didn't deserve. He didn't do anything wrong. And so he immediately has to go into this defensive mode. Do you guys remember what we said a couple weeks ago? Come on, we all know this. If you played sports in any form, what's the best defense? A good offense, right? And so how do you stay in that? How are you aware? Even whenever, again, you're going, I'm going to get this enemy. Well, what happens when you don't even know the enemy is attacking you? You're not prepared for it. You're not ready for it. You didn't get your prayer team ready and get inside your closet and, do a couple Hail Marys or I don't know. You didn't do any of those. It just happens to you. Now what? Now, how do you react to this? So here's the big topic. I've done this before, so if you need to leave now, this is all I need you to know, okay? Is victory powered by prayer? The thing that many of us don't want to do actually is the exclamation point to the victory. This is what God wants to do today. In our story, Daniel will face bloodthirsty lions. Has anyone seen a lion before? The zoo, right? We got the best zoo, okay? And Lion King lied to me. Not that they would sing. I didn't expect them to sing, Amber, okay? What I expected them to do was to do anything. But if you go to the zoo, has anybody seen the lion do anything more than lay down, walk up, to go lay down again? And you realize they're just cats. They're just big cats. Big, furry, hairy, very dangerous cats. That's right, with the murder mittens. When you see them at the zoo, they're just lying around. So here's what I did. Because you read a story about lions in the Bible a lot of times, and if you go to the zoo, you're like, these lions aren't as scary as it seems. And so I did some research so you guys don't have to. Here's what I found. Lions enjoy relaxing and being lazy. A well-fed lion will spend between 16 and 20 hours resting and sleeping daily. For a lion to be well-fed, it needs to eat 10 to 15 pounds of meat every day. A lion's only activity outside of sleeping and eating is, let's call it procreation. And to the best of understanding, because obviously, like Lion King, they don't talk. They're one of the few animals in the animal kingdom that seem to procreate because it's fun, not just to make more lion cubs. And so I read that, Natalie, and I went, I think I want to be a lion. This is the good life. This is the Nebraska life. Like that. We got the wrong mascot. We're lions. It's like that. Okay. That makes more sense why when I see them at the zoo, it's just sleeping and eating. And thank goodness I haven't seen the other part. The lion, like a good lion life, is all pleasure, no pain, right? It's just enjoying. It's just being the king of the jungle. They get to do this because they are the king of the jungle. Like even when a lion has to go hunt, it's going to win. It's going to hunt. It is going to kill. It is going to do that. They eat to sleep. That is all they're doing in this. And so this feels in conflict with the verse that Pastor Natalie read. Let me pull just a section out of this. 1 Peter 5-8. It says, stay alert. Okay? I know, that was loud. But stay alert. There's an exclamation point. You got to say it loud. When you're reading your Bible, do that. Say it in your head. Stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. You see, lions are docile. They're calm until they're not. until you actually face a hungry lion. Then the game changes. They become a completely different animal at that point. You can cuddle with a well-fed lion, but the moment it's hungry, I wouldn't suggest it, but when a lion is hungry, it eats and kills without remorse. This is what makes them the king of the jungle. A lion can run at 50 miles per hour. Its roar can travel over 5 miles and reach up to 114 decibels, equivalent to a jet engine turning on. When biting, it generates 650 pounds of pressure per square inch. To put it in a little perspective, when you chew a steak, it's about 80. Their back teeth slide across each other like scissors to tear flesh easily. As long as a lion is well fed, it won't attack. But if you don't feed the lion, it's going to attack. Here's what I want you to catch. As we've been talking about the victories of life and the battles that you need to face, I think some of us have felt like we've won battles, but we actually haven't. Here's what I want you to catch. You haven't won the fight. You've just kept your enemy fed. In war, this is called paying tribute. You got an enemy much greater than you. You lost a battle. And so now you just bring some sort of resource, something to tell you that you're valuable. Don't attack me anymore. Don't hurt me anymore. Here's something to just keep you docile. What do you need us to learn? What language do you need us to speak? What food do you want from us? What do you need from farming? How many kids do you need for sacrifice? Whatever it is, just take it so you don't hurt me. And I think, just go with me with this on a second. I know this is a little rough, but I need you to hear, like, these are the battles that we're actually facing. And it's some of us, as we've been going through life, we go, man, I'm not dealing with that anymore. Praise God. And I'm like, you're not dealing with it because you keep feeding it. There's no reason for it to attack you because it's already winning battles. You're giving them all the resource. At one point, you may have felt your marriage was at its last straw. And so to save it, you've become lax on things you've asked them to do. No, I'm just trying to keep the peace. Pick your battles, right? Come on, I said that this week. Pick your battles. It wasn't with Natalie, it was with my youngest. To keep peace at your job so you don't feel threatened and losing it, you work late hours without pay so you can show your value. That mother, father, sister, brother hold your family hostage with demands and manipulation. But instead of addressing the lion, you just keep feeding that person to keep the family together. But it's not. Because when they leave the room, what's the only thing you talk about? We all know the lion's around. It's just as long as it's fed, it won't attack us. As long as we all show up for holiday. As long as they can have that little addiction, then they don't take it out on the kids. They don't take it out on me. I don't know. Maybe I'm different. Maybe that's just my experience. Maybe this is what I've just done with my family, with people that I love. Man, can I tell you, I believe God's calling us not to just look at the easy battles in life, but look at the lions. Look at these things that are actively trying to attack us and say, have you considered this? Have you considered addressing this? And I get it. If you were to stop feeding that lion, what would it do? It would attack. It will hurt you. It will lash out. You've had that moment with that person when you said enough is enough. And then what did they do? They attacked. And you don't want them to do that, so you don't address it. I get it. I'm with you. But we have to. We have to look at this. So no wonder you feel attacked when you stop feeding the pleasures of life in your enemy. And some of you started going to church. Maybe you opened up a prayer life. Maybe you started reading the Bible. Maybe you told somebody like Pastor Natalie or Mari or Missy, hey, life is just really hard. Could you pray for me today? I don't know what to do with this situation. My family member's really hurting me right now. You've asked that. And no wonder when you denied that lion food, the next day you felt it come back at you. Anybody feel that? Come on. In this series, did you feel that? That the moment you heard a message on worship, like the enemy has already lost, like you're going to face giants and stand up to them, that giant showed its ugly head. No wonder, because you stopped feeding it. You slowed down your life. You quit some of the crazy hassle of stuff. But then what happened? Your schedule got overwhelmed again. This is how it works. The devil has no new tricks, by the way. What got you before, they're going to try to use that the exact same way again. It's got no new tricks. It knows how to defeat you. It knows how to make you feed it. So Peter gives us a warning. Stay alert. Watch out. Because this lion is roaming around looking for someone. Not anyone. It's not random. Some of us, we get a flat tire and we're like, the devil's after me today. Today, the garage door didn't open. The devil doesn't want Pastor Natalie at church. No, garage doors just break sometimes. That's it. To the MDs, yeah. But there are things that you face. You know them. You know that feeling. It feels more than just inconvenience. It's more than just like, I don't really like that person. It's, that goes against something deep inside of me, something I maybe am not even addressing. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the enemy that's roaming around. He's not looking for anyone. He's looking for someone. Someone who's trying to do better, someone who's not feeding lions, someone who's praying, someone who's going to church, someone who's opening up, someone who's setting boundaries, someone who is resting on a Sabbath, somebody who's having meals with friends that don't look like them, don't talk like them, don't act like them. That's who they're looking for, someone that is trying. That's who they want to eat. I want you to see this, guys. Some of you need to take a picture of this. You need to write this down. Feeling enemy pressure means you're on the right track. How cool is it that you have this immediate notice that when you feel that, you must be doing something right. Consider this. Yesterday, we did an egg hunt. And I had to lean over and move eggs all around the egg hunt. Today, my back is hurting. Because I'm getting old and I don't work out. And I'm short. I'm pretty low to the ground. Imagine a tall person, having to, touch your toes. What are you talking about? They're a mile away. Mine are only 2 feet. And I still can't do it. But the evidence isn't I shouldn't bend over. I shouldn't help out. I shouldn't have done egg hunts. It's, I worked out in a passive way. Accidentally, I stretched. But the evidence is, I'm feeling the tension in my body. And that means I'm getting stronger. It means something good is happening. I should do more of that. And the more I do that, the less that single activity will stop hurting. And it'll give me a boldness to start an even greater strength routine. Something that will build me into the person I know I'm called to be. The same thing in your spiritual journey. You will start at the basics and God will do something great. The moment we begin to resist the enemy and deny lions the pleasures of life, they will hunt us down. The Indian lawyer turned nonviolent protester Mahatma Gandhi once explained the path of enemy resistance this way. First, they ignore you. Then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. Yeah. This revolutionary leader gives us a glimpse into our story of Daniel today. Daniel gives us a solution to deal with these lions when they start attacking. The answer isn't to stop and start feeding them. The answer is to keep going because you're going to win. There's something on the other side of this. They're going to laugh at you. They're going to taunt you. You're going to have family members that go, "You're wasting your Sunday on that? You're giving your money to a church? Don't you know what that means in our world today? So you hate people? What? No, I've never loved people more. I've never been more cared for. I've never been more protected. I've never been more secure in who I am. I've never loved myself more than when I started this. You can't tell me to stop. You could laugh at me, but I'm laughing all the way to the bank. I don't know. That's for somebody here. Daniel is a political refugee. In the book of Daniel, if you want to know the story of Daniel, go to the book of Daniel. Daniel's a prophet. The first couple chapters of his book are a narrative. It's about his life and how there's some credibility standing on who he is and what he's doing. The big section, 2/3 of the book of Daniel, is prophecies about who the coming Messiah is going to be. It's prophecies against how Israel got into the place that they're in right now. You see, Daniel, when he was a teenager, this major empire called Babylon takes over Judah. And so this city that God oversees later, and Judah exists today in so many ways, whatever. Anyways, Judah is defeated, and the way that the Babylonians tried to keep power over their defeated enemies is they take young royal children, so political leaders, kings, princes, their children, and they take them into their empire and say, you know all the history, you're the best educated people, now we're going to educate you on how to be a Babylonian. We're going to give you our math, our language, our way of life. You're going to worship our gods. You're going to eat our food. And the story of Daniel is he gets captured and he does the opposite of all of that. When they say, you need to eat our food, he goes to them and says, hey, let me eat fruits and vegetables for 2 weeks. Let me eat my diet, and my friends who are with me, let me coach them on how to do this diet. And then see which of us is stronger, the ones who ate your diet or the ones who ate God's diet. The people who ate the Babylonian diet, fat and lazy. It was all McDonald's. That's not in the Bible. That's just what I like to picture, because that feels the opposite of fruits and veggies. So the men who ate healthy, whole foods are stronger. And they're more capable, and they learn better, and they do stuff better. No surprise. At points in their lives, they've been asked to bow down to kings. They actually rename these boys. Daniel has a Babylonian name that every time the Babylonians refer to him, they refer to him as Belshazzar. And it's a name, it's a derivative of a name of their primary god. They're trying to beat them down, yet Daniel stays consistent. This is crazy. I think I don't know. I'm working to get to this place, but I think I would have buckled. We talked about this before, but in the face of danger, I'm like, live to fight another day. Maybe this isn't my battle today. And Daniel goes, yeah, this is my battle. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. This is how God is going to win. He is now, so by the time we're going to reach our story right here, he's about 80 years old. He's essentially been a slave his entire life. He probably was about 14 or 16 whenever he was taken into captivity. His entire life, he has been under this. But because God has blessed him, because he stayed consistent, Daniel is as close to the top of political authority in a nation in which he was a slave to. This is how God works, by the way, that your faithfulness and consistency in following him and going against the culture of what people are telling you to do, he actually lifts you up. He puts you in places of authority so that you can do his work, not your work. This is the story of Daniel. He's 80 years old. 80 years old, okay? I need you to remember this. 80 years old. Let me say it again. 80 years old. I'm turning 35 this year, and my back already hurts. I can't imagine 80. Can't imagine. So he's towards the end of his life. He's outlasted threats and death at every turn, but the enemy doesn't give up. Through the influence of Daniel's peers, people who are jealous of his authority and his health and his faith, Daniel is commanded to quit praying to his God and pray to the king instead. So what does Daniel do? Well, let's read this. Daniel 6:10 through 11. It says, but when Daniel learned that the law had been signed, he went home, knelt down as usual in his upstairs room. With its windows open towards Jerusalem, he prayed 3 times a day, just as he had always done, giving thanks to God. Then the officials went together to Daniel's house, found him praying and asking for God's help. I want you to see and remember 3 parts from this verse. If you don't have the Bible app, download it. You can do it right now. I won't be offended by you being on the phone for getting the Bible. We have some. If you don't own a Bible, I love a physical Bible. There's something about having that. We have free Bibles here. I want to get a Bible into your hand. Please, 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 please. There's something about it. The Word of God in your home, in your backpack, in your purse will just does something. So please. But if you have this, or if you're taking notes, I want to encourage you, take notes. I want you to write down these few phrases. As usual, always done, found him praying. As usual, always done, found him praying. Daniel is not actively on the offense. When directly attacked for his faith, he went about as usual. He went home and did what he always did. He was so consistent in that his enemies knew where to find him. He never hid his faith. His enemies knew if we attack him with his prayer, that's where we're going to get him, because he always does this. He prays as usual. He opens his windows. The people around will hear his prayers, crying out to God. This is the Daniel life. I said this in the first week, and I want you to see this today. Daniel has the best defensive tactic. He is always on the offensive. There is no point in which Daniel is not praying, not ready. And so we go, how do you get ready? Like how whenever the enemy attacks and you don't see where it's coming from, maybe there was a death, someone close to you, maybe a friend gossiped about you, maybe you lost your job, and you're like, how am I supposed to be ready for this thing that I can't plan on? Well, for Daniel, he was always praying. He never stopped doing the thing that saved him from his previous battles. He was always in this offensive ready place. And when these are happening, I don't want us, chew the meat, spit the bones, whatever. I don't want us to only cry out to God in our dying moments. In World War II specifically, they would have chaplains run into the battlefield about 2 hours after the initial attacks, so that they could run around to as many people who were about to die and pray with them, because they were going to die. In this last chance moment that they could cry out to God and go to heaven. This is the war that we're talking about, that we're against. And many of us are fighting good battles, doing the hard work. Maybe you're going to therapy, having the conversations, you're praying a lot. Again, you're doing all the right stuff. But that cry for help, it comes at the last minute. And it feels like when everything is at rock bottom. I want us to move away from oh no prayers to you know prayers. Oh no, my bank account. Oh no, my marriage. Oh no, relapse. Oh no, death. Oh no, I'm losing everything. Do these prayers sound familiar? They do for me. I know I've prayed them, but I want to be done praying oh no prayers. I want the you know prayers. God, you know my situation. You know my problems. You know my hurts. You know my pains. You know, and only you can save. This is what God promises when you connect with him in prayer. He meets you. He wants to talk with you. So let me take you back to the David and Goliath story, okay? If you got to be the champion, the king that God has called you to be, the queen that God has called you to be, and you got to face giants that people aren't facing, if you got to take down lions and bears, and this is what you're called to, and worship is the sling that you hold, is your weapon. If you remember the story of David and Goliath, he faces a giant, and all he has is a sling and some stones, basically like a slingshot. Like that is what he has. And so worship is the sling and spinning it around, but it's not enough to stand in front of your giant. It's not enough to just swing the weapon in the air. It's good. It lets the enemy know that you're ready to attack and God is coming at you. But prayer is the stone that kills your enemy. It is the thing that shoots and takes them down. Prayer is so important. I cannot understate this. I love this. This is one of my favorite verses on prayer. 2 Chronicles chapter 7. It says, "Then if my people who are called by name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and restore their land." You see, I think we're all praying for God to give us something new, and he wants to restore what is old. You don't just need a new family. He wants to restore your family. You don't need a whole new bank account. You don't need a whole new marriage. You don't need a whole new boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is. He wants to restore what the enemy is trying to break down. My eyes will be open and my ears attentive to every prayer made in this place. This is God's promise to you. But Pastor, prayer feels strange. Yes. It's weird. Let me acknowledge that. It's weird. People probably don't say this, but praying is weird. Because it's talking in your head or out loud. And I would always encourage prayer out loud. There's power in the life and death of your tongue. But to nothing? To just out loud? Just to inside your car? In your home? In church? Won't people hear me? And is anyone hearing me? Is any of that stuff happening? It's awkward. Here's the thing. It's going to feel like 2 steps backwards before it's ever 1 step forward. It's always going to feel weird, but I need you to hear this. If my people will humble themselves and pray. James 4 says, "So humble yourselves before God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." Come close to God, and God will come close to you. What he's unlocking right here is that the path to victory is through prayer. But many of us don't do this because it's weird, it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and you're going to have to say something out loud that you never said out loud before. But God says, I answer, and I give you the power to resist your enemy through humble prayer, through acknowledging him. There's a foolish belief built into prayer that God is listening. The creator of the universe, the ground you're standing on, was created by him. Not a construction worker putting concrete in. It's resources, it's everything came from his hand, his design, his mind, his voice speaking it into life. And then there's this weird confidence that Christians are supposed to have that when you pray, this creator of the universe hears you. That's really cocky. That's like me sending an email to the CEO of Costco and saying, I need unlimited groceries. And he responds to my email and says, no problem. I got you. Thanks for asking. No one's asked before. I would have done this for everybody. But no one asked me. You go, why does God need me to ask him? God doesn't need you to ask him. He needs you to realize you need to ask him. Because if he just gave it to you, if it was just in your hand, it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be what it is. You're never going to see it as the gift that it's supposed to be. Theologian Tim Mackey, one of my favorite writers currently on the Bible and how to read it and understand it, and now speaks on prayer. He says, prayer means the risk of facing silence when we're addicted to noise. It's the risk of facing a God we've mastered talking about, singing about, reading about, and learning about. Most of us only know God from a pastor talking. It means risking real interaction with that God. And the longer we've gotten used to settling for the noise around God, the higher the stakes. What if it's awkward or disappointing or boring? Or what if God stands me up altogether? This is also true in the story of Daniel. He hears prayers, he gives prayers, but he hears no divine word from God. God, help me. Nothing? I really need some help. Anytime now. That diagnosis is really uncomfortable. Okay, maybe I'm just in the wrong spot. Maybe I got bad cell reception. Maybe if I go to church and pray, maybe he'll hear me then. Hey, I need some help. Still nothing. Really? This is Daniel. He's done nothing wrong. He's done everything right. He's 80 years old, living as a slave in captivity. And God doesn't speak. But Daniel still prays. He's thrown to his enemies to be devoured. Where's Daniel's God now? Daniel's been a faithful follower. And out of anyone, Daniel should be saved. Maybe you felt that. You've been doing all the right things. You've been denying your lions. You've been trying. And yet, it still comes. It still attacks. The story of Daniel that God wants to show us today is don't stop praying. Don't stop worshiping. Don't stop standing in front of those giants. What he's trying to do is tell you that it's the consistency in life that frees us. He's thrown into the lion's den. The den is sealed with a tomb he cannot escape. Inside the den, it's completely dark, pitch black, no windows. The lions, this is the Babylonians, they killed people a lot this way, especially Jewish people. This is how they would kill them. They would throw this in and they would purposely deny food to the lions and only feed them humans. So that when most of them, you can look at Babylonian history, most of them wouldn't even reach the bottom of the den before the lions would grab them and eat them, shred them apart. It's violent. But this is what I'm talking about. Daniel is thrown in. And we have no idea what happens to him. The king who throws Daniel in the den is distressed. He realizes his best worker is about to die. And so, what does he do? Daniel 6:19 says, very early the next morning, the king got up and hurried out to the lion's den. He got there and he called out in anguish, Daniel, servant of the living God. This is the enemy is calling God. The God of everything. Was your God whom you serve so faithfully able to rescue you from the lions? This is a powerful verse right here. Daniel answered, long live the king. My God sent his angel to shut the mouths of lions so that they would not hurt me. For I have been found innocent in his sight, and I have not wronged you, your majesty. The king was overjoyed, ordered Daniel to be lifted from the den. Not a scratch was found on him, for he had trusted God. Just because God is silent doesn't mean he's absent. You quit too soon. You saw the den open up. You were getting thrown in, and you said, wait, I'll bow now. I'll do it now. I'll give up. You win. Surrender. You quit too soon. You're going to be thrown into the lions. But that's actually where God is. I want God in the safe place. Well, he's in the valley. He's in the dirt, in the grime. He's in those places. He's there. And he's going to send people. He's going to send his angels to save you. Some of you got right up to the point where you were about to be devoured and you bowed out and gave up. But God wasn't found in the safety of our homes and churches. God is found in the lion's den. You see, we see a list of hardships in Daniel's life: slave, death, threats, political overthrow, all of the stuff. But Daniel saw an opportunity to be faithful. You see, faith turns you from a victim into a victor. Worship team, would you guys come forward as we close today? You see, we build faith before fights so that we can rely on it when we're in the fight. Fighting is exhausting. I don't know if you've ever wrestled or fought somebody before. Come on. You're not like, woo, let's hug it out. Like, you're exhausted. You're breathing heavy. There was a UFC fight last night, and like one of the guys just decimated. And he, even though he won, he still, his chest, it's exhausting. This is hard, heavy work that we're talking about right here. But God gives you strength. He's doing this. He wants to do this. In his powerful book on prayer called Pray Like Monks, Live Like Fools, Tyler Stanton corrects our perspective on prayer, saying this: the assumption of biblical prayer is that God's action always precedes my request. As long as I yell it out, God will answer it. The aim is to not get in on what I think he should be doing. Rather, the aim of prayer is to get us in on what God is doing. Become aware of it. Join it. Enjoy the fruit of participation. This week is the beginning of what's called Passion Week. In Christian circles, this is the week in which Jesus comes into the holy city, and he rides a donkey, not a horse, doesn't have like a chariot, doesn't have like a big procession of people. It's not like that scene in Aladdin, right? He comes in on a donkey. And that's how he begins. This day is called Palm Sunday because the people who followed Jesus said, we can't let him just walk on normal dirt roads. So they go and collect palm leaves and lay it on the ground so that as the king enters his city, he's not just walking on normal dirt. It's the best that they could do. Other times they say that they throw their robes on the ground. They're literally giving things that they have. They're putting work. The king has come into the city. They know what's about to happen. On Thursday night, he has dinner with his closest followers. At this dinner, he does a thing called communion, where he breaks bread and drinks wine with them and gives them an explanation of the work that's about to be done. That night, after dinner, after laughing, it says that Jesus was lounging and relaxing. He was with his family. He was with people that he loves, and he knows. He knows. We know this because he actually calls out one of his disciples for betrayal and allows him to leave the dinner. After dinner, he goes to a garden called Gethsemane. And this is a place he would go often to pray, to get away. Late at night, early in the morning, he would break away from crowds so he can go and be in a quiet place with his Lord, his Father. And so, the day before his death, he does what he always did. He went about as usual, and those who knew him knew where to find him. And he brings a couple disciples with him, and he prays this prayer 3 times. He went up a little further and bowed with his face to the ground, praying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet, I want your will to be done, not mine." Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I've dedicated my whole life to this line. And the rest of my life will be off this line right here. To acknowledge the pain. This is going to hurt. God, if there's any way that this could not hurt, if there's any way I can fix my marriage and it not hurt, if there's any way that I can bring my kids home and it's not going to hurt, if there's any way that I could pay this bill and it's not going to hurt, I don't have to work extra hours, please, let something. God, I'm facing a diagnosis, a death, a worry. Someone I love is scared and panicked for their life. They're in an abusive situation and I feel like I can't help. God, if there's any way I could stop this suffering, please that. But your will be done. I'll take on the pain because I know you'll be with me. Some might find this prayer confusing because you know the end of the story. You know Jesus dies and he raised from the dead, from the grave. But this is an unimaginable agony ahead of him. Jesus is willing to walk himself into the lion's dens instead of being thrown into it. He goes, is that where the lions are? Okay, hey, no, you don't need to escort me. I'll walk. I'll go in. And this time, unlike the story of Daniel, God doesn't save him with an angel. In fact, at one point, one of the murderers on the cross right next to him says, if you really are Lord, can't angels save you? Can't something better than this save you? On the other side of him was another man on the cross that said, I recognize that you're Lord. Please help me. I see you suffering like I'm suffering. And Jesus says, because of your faith, I'll see you. I'll save you. I'll help you.